Return to status quo. Appeal Court of Abuja Division dismisses Rivers State High Court ex parte order which sacked Martin Amewele and 26 lawmakers in Rivers State. Federal High Court Abuja invalidates PDP Edo State governorship primary over the exclusion of 371 delegates. Also on political update today, the political games begin as elections in Edo and Ondo states draw nearer. We have these and more on our lineup. I am Fisayo Gufui. Welcome. The Court of Appeal has overturned the decision of the lower court which sacked Martin Amewele and 24 others from their positions in Rivers State House of Assembly. Let's take the report.
The Court of Appeal has overturned the decision of the lower court which sacked Martin Amewele and 24 other members from their positions in the Rivers State House of Assembly. The three-man panel of justices led by Justice Jimmy Olukayode Bada in their ruling dismissed the ex parte order given by the High Court of Rivers State sitting in Port Harcourt on May 10, 2024, stopping Martin Amewele from parading himself as Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. It also dismissed the decision of the State High Court, stopping 24 other members of the Assembly from assessing the complex or carrying out any such legislative assignment in the name of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The appellate court, in determining the issue of jurisdiction of the lower court to hear and grant an ex parte order, held that the Federal High Court is exclusively and mandatorily the only court that can hear such matters and not a state high court, citing Section 273 of the Constitution. The Speaker, Victor Okojumbo, and two others are defendants in the matter.
The ruling by the Court of Appeal directed all parties to return to status quo is no doubt generating reactions in the political space, especially Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. Robinson, the retired, joins us from there. Now, Robinson, what has been happening in Port Harcourt?
The judgment of the Court of Appeal was received with mixed reaction by the two warring factions in Rivers State. The faction loyal to the FCT Minister, Yoson Wike, is obviously excited for the fact that they will now have the opportunity to come back and start legislative duties. You will recall that the State High Court had initially stopped them from parading themselves and also carrying out legislative duties. And they approached the appellate court, which says that the State High Court does not have jurisdiction over the matter. So the judgment has given them the opportunity to come back and start legislative duties. As for the faction loyal to the incumbent governor, when we made attempt to speak with the Attorney General of the state, he said they are standing by the statement issued by the spokesperson of the G60 Federal Opposition Lawmakers, Ikenga Ugochinyere. And the statement indicates that the 25 lawmakers that have been sacked or their seats declared vacant remain sacked. This is because the judgment does not mention the legality or illegality of the vacancy of their seats. And so the state government believes that they have the opportunity to approach the Supreme Court to either interpret what the appellate court has said or go and start the case afresh from High Court. But whichever way it is, Rivers people are waiting to see what will come out of it. But obviously, the whole scenario is not going down well with the residents of Rivers State. This is because it is obviously affecting governance in the state and also the smooth running of businesses in the state. You will recall that this whole issue led to the burning of the assembly structure and also the subsequent demolition of the structure. The height of it all was when the president intervened and introduced a peace pact. But later, both parties alleged that they were not respecting the peace pact, and the whole thing later escalated to this level it is today. But generally, there is peace in the state. There is no cause for alarm. People are going about their normal businesses. In a few days from now, we shall see what will become of the whole issue.
Robinson, the retired from Port Harcourt there, and you alluded to a statement by G60, federal lawmakers under the aegis of G60 opposition coalition, saying that the seats of the SAC 27 lawmakers in Rivers State House of Assembly should remain vacant, as the appeal court, in its latest ruling, did not decide on the validity of their defection.
And let me re-emphasize again, appeal court did not void the declaration of the seat of the 27 pro-Wike lawmakers vacant. They didn't void that declaration. Jumbo still remains the speaker, pending when the issue of the legality of the decampment of the SAC 27 lawmakers are resolved by a federal high court, appeal court, and the Supreme Court.
Persons who have defected have lost their seats. If they have any honor left in them, the best that they can do is to get back to those who elected them and seek for re-election, test their popularity.
It has been a case of 1 week, one trouble, or shall we say 1 week, one political update from Rivers State in the past few months, with the latest being the installment being the judgment of the appeal court faulting the Rivers State High Court ex parte judgment restraining erstwhile Speaker Martin Amuwule and other lawmakers on their status. Now, Chairman APC Caretaker Committee, Rivers State, Chief Tony Okocha joins us today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Let's look at all this. What are your expectations after, as opposition, after this judgment in terms of, the direction of state, in terms of the administration of the state? As it were, we had about 3 people running the affairs of the state legislature for a couple of weeks, or shall we say months, and now this interpretation by the appeal court.
Well, Rivers State has been embroiled in both political and legal crisis for a long period. And I think it dates back to somewhere in November when the governor felt that he had become so mighty and shouldn't take counsel from those he should take counsel from. It reminds me of the biblical Rehoboam, who was king in Israel at a point. And when he assumed office, when he took over the stool, he went and sought counsel from the elders. And the elders told him clearly, look, your father chastised us with cane. Please lessen the burden for us. He left the father, he left the elders, and approached his colleagues, his peers, his young people. And those ones told him, your father chastised them with cane, you will chastise them with scorpion. And so, as soon as he made that pronouncement, the elders left the place, and that's why you see to your tent, so Israel. So, since the governor assumed office, it has been the issue of 1 week, one trouble. And the issues are self-inflicted. He is the originator of all of this, all of what has transpired. But not to take so much of your time, because I don't even know how long we're on this screen. But to say that the Court of Appeal judgment, broke the ice in the long, drawn legal crisis. One day you wake up, you hear that the court had given an interim ex parte order, ordering XYZ and all of those. But I belong to the side, the APC in Rivers State was vehement. We belong to the side of the law. And the law is that he who asserts will prove. And not the Court of Appeal did. Simple. In fact, if I wore a wig and a gun, if anybody will offer me that, I will put my defense on that matter. And I am sure that I will win a whole lawyers who are over 20 years in the bar. The reason is that these things are tried. They are clear. They are not issues to be controverted. You don't put something on nothing. It's a legal maxim. You don't shave somebody behind him. It's one of the proverbs Abiola told. And the court said, That's a judicial overreach. Because if somebody was mentioned in the matter, he didn't give the person opportunity for fair hearing. How would that stand? The other one was the court said, look, you do not have jurisdiction. And it's clear, it's elementary. If you go to the Constitution, it's there, 271, 272, says clearly, unambiguously, who qualifies, which of the courts qualifies to discuss the issue of removal from assembly and all of those. Because the Constitution said that it is within the confines, it is within the purview of the Federal High Court. And so a state high court going to assume jurisdiction over what he does not know about, over what the Constitution stops him from doing, is an aberration. These people have thrived in aberrations. You just mentioned that 3 persons are lawmakers and they say that they carry a legislative function. In an assembly of 32, we lost 1 to death, 1 resigned. 30 of them very active. 27 is on this side, and 3 persons sit down to legislate for the state. 1 is speaker, 1 is deputy speaker, the other one is majority leader.
No minority.
Is it not an aberration?
So let's move away from that a little bit. There have been elections in the local government slated for November, I guess. Is your party still going to participate? Let's say after categorical information from you, or are you waiting for this 27 to perhaps resume, and then maybe you are expecting some other pronouncements?
Well, first and foremost is that as a party, the All Progressives Congress, we are the majority of opinion of the voiceless in Rivers State. We are a major political opposition to the ruling People's Democratic Party in Rivers State. And our positions have not been hidden. On the 19th of January, I still remember vividly, we visited with the chairman and members of the RISEC, like Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. And of course, you and I will know that INEC, RISEC anywhere, or SEC anywhere, any state, in this case, Rivers State, is only saddled with one responsibility, and the responsibility is to conduct election. And so we visited with the chairman and his members as IPAC. And our chairman, Honorable Aaron Chukwemeka, JP, spoke on our behalf, and there was nothing to kill. There was no other issues to raise. He said, look, chairman, please set out timetable for election. And the chairman took off the rostrum and was so happy. He congratulated, he thanked us, and he said, well, that as far as they are concerned, that they are very ready for election, but that they lack the wherewithal, they lack the enablement, they lack the logistics, and so that they cannot fly. And that is the truth. Everybody knows that INEC cannot conduct election without funding.
In your case, RISEC.
RISEC. No, I'm going to, I say INEC right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Then, again, the same thing will also cascade to RISEC. They can't conduct election without funds. So that was the message they passed. So as soon as we left the hall where we met, media people swooped on me, and it was like it was like a bee. So, and the questions were coming left, right, and center. And it was said emphatically that the governor should set up a process. 19th of January to June 17th was 6 months, 6 clear months. And there was no reason why the governor wasn't going to conduct elections. So we conduct the local government election. And that's what it is. Did he conduct the local government election? No. He waited for the tenure of the local government chairman to expire, in quotes, for him to appoint caretaker members to be able to start building structure. Is that what we elected the man for? He has just been honest. Anyway, to answer your question straight, is that we are not aware of any dates. I hear on television, on radio, social media, that RISEC had fixed 5th of October for local government election. As far as we are concerned, it's news. And it's a sad one for that matter. It's sad reality. Because the chairman is a revered justice of the court of the High Court of Rivers, now retired. And he knows the law more than I do know. And he knows that the party cannot depend on social information you intercept from social media on a matter that has to do with election.
So you are waiting to be informed?
He didn't write to us. We're waiting. No, we're waiting. There was a stakeholders meeting where we were told they took the decision, or he reeled out the decision they have already, panel-beated and knocked together. We were not invited. So how do I participate in an event that I do not know about? So it's an effort in futility. And I say again to you that at least a lot of other things would have happened immediately after the Court of Appeal judgment. And we'll begin to see them from next week.
All right, let's quickly take stories from other states. We'll come for your closing lines. With the forthcoming governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states later this year, a group under the aegis of concerned Kogi citizen forums urging the National Assembly to ensure that the bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS is mandatory. The group protested against what it described as bypass of BVAS in recent elections in the country. This is, however, described as an unfounded allegation by another group which also visited the INEC headquarters in the solidarity visit.
Section 64, subsection 4, that BVAS is compulsory. The only means of accreditation is BVAS. And it was signed into law. It became the law of Federal Republic of Nigeria that BVAS must be used in accreditation. I kept saying it. INEC is the only way, is the only ministry or only institution that can put Nigeria on the right track. The reason is because if our politician does not have the means to hold them accountable, trust me, they will misbehave, they will misuse our money because they know they can still use the same money to find their way in 2027.
So if any politician is not satisfied with the outcome of the election, he has the options of the courts to seek redress. So this attempt to blackmail INEC, the judiciary, which is capable of eating up the polity, will be resisted. So as a group, we are here to show solidarity.
There are legal frameworks that are guiding all the processes of election in the country. And the Commission is committed to ensuring that it delivers at all times free, fair, credible, and inclusive elections.
Back to the courts. A federal court in Abuja division has invalidated the People's Democratic Party's primary election that produced Asue Ighodalo as the party's candidate in the September governorship elections in Edo State. The People's Democratic Party says that its candidate, Dr. Asue Ighodalo, remains validly in the race.
A federal high court Abuja division has invalidated the People's Democratic Party's primary election that produced Asue Ighodalo as party's candidate in September governorship election in Edo State. The presiding judge, Justice Iyan Gekwo, held that the PDP's primary held on February 22 failed to comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, the guidelines for the conduct of the poll and the party's constitution. Justice Ekwo held that the plaintiffs, through the exhibits tendered in court, were able to establish their case against the defendants. The court posited that from the exhibit presented by the PDP, it was discovered that the returning officers who prepared the result sheets only sat down in a place to manufacture the outcome of the poll. Justice Ekwo ruled that the exclusion of 381 delegates, including the plaintiffs, were against the provisions of the law. The court equally held that though INEC, the first defendant, filed a memorandum of appearance in the suit, it was unfortunate that the commission did not file any process in the matter. 3 aggrieved ad hoc delegates in representative capacity on behalf of the 378 others sued the Independent National Electoral Commission, the PDP, its national secretary, and the vice chairman South-South as first to fourth defendants. Meanwhile, the leadership of the People's Democratic Party says its candidate in the September 21, 2024 Edo State governorship election, Dr. Asue Ighodalo, remains validly in the race, contrary to erroneous interpretative media reports of the ruling by the Federal High Court Abuja. The PDP national spokesperson, Debo Ologunagba, in a statement stated that the court did not make any order nullifying the primary election of Dr. Asue Ighodalo as the party's candidate for the Edo State governorship election, as there are no grounds whatsoever for such. The party affirms that the congresses and subsequent governorship primary that produced Dr. Asue Ighodalo as the winner and party's flag bearer were duly and legally conducted in strict compliance with the provisions of the Constitution and the electoral guidelines of the PDP, the Electoral Act 2022, and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended.
All right, we'll be watching that space for developments from Edo PDP as well with the off-cycle elections, with the off-cycle governorship elections in Edo and Ondo State looming. We'll see how that is resolved. We still have the Chairman Caretaker Committee of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Chief Tony Okocha, right here with us. And we will be asking you some questions. Some of the bone of contention perhaps in all these arguments and court cases is that 27 members have been alleged to have decamped from the PDP to your party at some point. Did you receive them?
Well, that's, after the Court of Appeal spoke yesterday, I'm now at liberty to discuss the matter. Before, or hitherto, any place I go to, any television station or radio station I go to, that's the first question they ask me. And I said that the matter was sub judice, so I couldn't discuss the matter that was before the court. But now that the matter has been laid off, I mean, nothing will hold me culpable if I discuss.
3 minutes you have to
now,
discuss.
Now, the members of the assembly, we did not receive them. We had a Thanksgiving service as APC leadership. We were newly enthroned or appointed. And we felt that first thing we should do Thanksgiving, thank God for their appointment, and use the opportunity to introduce ourselves to our teaming party members. Of course, before then, I can tell you that the APC was almost like a social club in Rivers State. It was not a political party. So we needed to get them so that we rejig the party. And we extended invites to anybody that we felt would be useful, for the program. And assembly members were invited. We were still poaching them. They were almost like lost interest in what the PDP was doing. We were poaching them, okay? For anybody to say that they have entered or they didn't enter the defect to PDP or APC, the person should be able to show, if you're a member of an organization, two things are clear. One is that your name is on the register of that organization. The other one is that if the organization has membership card or identity card, you pay there. But it is still true that the assembly members are still in their wards as members of PDP. You will not find any of them in our membership list as member of APC. So what are we talking about here? I read a book, the Republic, written by Plato, and Plato was clear when he talked about the allegory of the cave. Some people allow themselves to be misguided, they live in illusions and all of those. I heard, I don't know whether you give me a few more time, G60 or whatever, now had considered themselves as Supreme Court or the Chief Judge of the Federation. That is what I see that is going on. Otherwise, look at the Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General, it was his responsibility to interpret what the Supreme Court said. And he said no, that he adopts the position of G60. Who is G60? Crisis entrepreneurs. I know Igochie very well. When I was chief of staff, we had a crisis. He was coming, and I know his hand. I know the game he plays. I don't understand. Okay, anyway, the commissioner was also scared, being a lawyer, when the Court of Appeal said, the last line of their judgment, that let status quo remain. And they didn't stop there, so that pocket lawyers like us will not be interpreting left, right, and center. They said the status quo is how the matter is, how the state was, before any matter at all was instituted in any court. And that is the status quo. So what is the status quo then? Is that Martins Amehule and 27 members on this side are members of the assembly and the speaker of Rivers State Assembly. No if and but. The commissioner knows that even that he calls himself commissioner, is also, at the labyrinth of confusion. Reason is that 3 members of the assembly could not have screened him and cleared him for appointment. You two stand. Are we in a banana republic?
That is a good way to end it. Tony Okocha, Chairman, Caretaker Committee of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, thank you very much for coming on Political Update. And you for also being a part of today's installment of the program. I will be back again on Tuesday for a fresh package. Do be with us. Between now and then, play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on Africa's finest and largest for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.